Hi, it's David from Life with Parkinson's. If you're new here, welcome. We hope you'll consider subscribing. For everybody else, thank you for coming back to watch this episode of my final Parkinson's Vibration Glove update. You won't want to miss it. We're going to talk about what we go through when we look at new treatment options for our Parkinson's and whether or not we can label it as a success or a failure. A lot of my observations are based on personal experience and my opinion, so if you disagree with me, that's okay, I can handle it. Just let me know in the comments below. Also, near the end of the video, I will talk about what treatment I'm looking at to replace the gloves and why, so I'll share that near the end of the video, so you'll definitely want to stick around for that. We have a lot to get through on this awesome video. Let's get right to it. Okay, first part of the video, the hope and the hype. Henry Ford once said, the maker of all the Ford trucks and automobiles, this is what he once said about failure. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. And I believe Henry Ford is definitely correct, because my friend Trevor and we went through so many different evolutions of the Parkinson's vibration gloves, and we solved so many problems on the way. But the one thing we couldn't solve was the problem of overstimulation. And that's what I want you guys to know right away. There is a chance that the gloves could cause overstimulation issues, and for me they were extremely painful. I would get this, what I would call jaw clamp, where my jaw would just clamp down, and I broke a couple of fillings that way. Thankfully I have a mouth guard, so I didn't break a few teeth, but we could just not get that to go away. At the end, I was down to every 4 days for like 8 to 10 minutes maximum. Like if I did even at that amount, I would still get the jaw clamp symptom and the nausea, the dizziness, the wanting to vomit, like I had taken too much Cinnamate, like I had taken too much levodopa carbidopa, when you get really nauseous, like you do in the beginning when you first take it. Those would never go away. The gloves did work for me. Yes, they did work to a certain extent, but these overstimulation problems we were never able to overcome them. And also one thing I found as the evolutions of the gloves happened is that there's no tech support to call. There's no tech support. There's no one you can really send an email to except a friend. And I was very grateful to have Trevor help me sort out all these problems. But it's just there's no tech support. There's no warranty. And so right off the bat I'm going to say, I think it was a really good experience because at the time I was desperate. And I'm also going to talk about this. There's the desperation of chronic illness or the desperation of people with Parkinson's. Right? We're desperate for a treatment option. We're desperate for things to come our way. I took this path out of desperation because my rescue medication in Canada had been deleted. That was the end of it. So the gloves did help me get over that. They did help me deal with getting rid of my rescue medication, and they brought me basically to here where I am now. I'm feeling really good, and I'm not saying it's all because of the gloves. There's lots of other things going on. Just over a year ago, I was in a really bad place. I was desperate, and so they have brought me forward to this time where I'm feeling really good, but I'm also thinking I need to find something else. And I think it brings us back to what Henry Ford said. We can proceed now a little bit more intelligently. I don't think I'm going to try another homemade product. I just don't think that's the right thing for me. You guys need to decide for yourself. Another thing I want to mention is that this episode was a long time coming. I've held off on making this. The first reason is I didn't have something to replace the gloves, so I didn't know really what to add in here. The second is I have a hard time with failure. Failure for me really plays on me mentally. It brings me down. It gets me upset. Even though I'm 50 years old and I've failed a lot of times in my life, I still struggle with that. I get mad at myself and I'm like, I should have known better, and that's not the right thing to do. So I just didn't want to make this video. And thankfully last week I got sick. I wasn't able to make the video. I was like, yeah, I can put it off for one more week because I don't feel well. But no, I have to get it out there. I promised you guys I would tell you what I experienced with the gloves. And for me, it's time to hang them up. I look at them as a failure, but then it's not really a failure. It's just it's kind of confusing. What I wanted to talk about here was the hope and the hype. Like what we do when a new treatment comes along and we're told it's like miraculous, it's going to change Parkinson's. I think that's what happened here with the glove situation. A lot of the news reports were like, oh my goodness, we're on the verge of curing Parkinson's. This is an amazing thing. I got taken away with that too. I'm like, oh, there's a homemade option? Because I don't know when it's going to become available for someone like me, just an everyday person with Parkinson's. I'm nobody special. I'm just the same as everybody else, a person with Parkinson's hoping for a better life. What I wanted to bring up here is the 17-year informational gap from when something is created and the researchers know it works. It takes 17 years or so to get down to us, the patients. So we have a very research-driven medical system that I think needs, in my opinion, I think needs an overhaul, because when researchers discover something or they find something, it takes 17 years to filter down to the patients. I have a problem with that. I think that's too long. I don't have 17 years to wait for the next big thing. 17 years, that'll put me at 67 years old. I think things need to be changed, and I think if you don't believe me on this point, I'm going to put the website here, and the resources are all also in the description below, talking about this informational research gap between when something's created to when it's available with the patients. And I think this happened with the gloves. It just got too widespread. It just got too much out there, and people are like, heck, I can make something that vibrates. I'm very grateful for that because it helped me a lot. So the treatments you're receiving now, they were developed 17 years ago. So that's how long it took to get there. The things that our researchers are doing now that we should, I feel, in my opinion only, that we should know about, we're going to have to wait 17 years from today for them to reach us. And I'm like, that just doesn't seem right. In BC, our medical system is kind of crumbling from the inside out because there aren't enough doctors to keep the hospitals and the emergency rooms open. So Haley keeps telling me, oh, this hospital closed this weekend because there's no doctors available. No doctors available at an emergency room? That just doesn't seem right. A lot of times I feel that as human beings, we're able to live on hope. I'm not picking on anybody here, but let's just say there's a researcher working on this treatment and they're like, it's going to be available soon for people with Parkinson's and it's going to change their life. I can live on a tea bag and a cup full of hope as long as it's made real enough for me to believe that it's going to happen. Okay, next part of the video, what I'm going to be working on next. So what I'm going to be trying next is the Villain Ball, put out by JSC Villamed in Lithuania. And thank you guys very much over there. I really appreciate you. Thank you for sending me this as a sample so that I can try it out and share it with everybody. I'll be sure to keep everybody updated. There have been a couple people that have done the trial and reported their results on this channel. That would be Linda Barnes, my mother-in-law. Thank you very much. And also Esther from Shaking in My Boots. Both agreed to do a trial and have their results presented on Life with Parkinson's. I was very encouraged by the results, but as you know, this is marketed as a treatment for people with tremor-based Parkinson's. But there hasn't been really any research done on it for people with non-tremor-based Parkinson's. So because I'm hanging up the gloves, and I hung them up a little while ago, I was like, well, we know that vibration treatment helps people with Parkinson's in general. We do know that. There has been research done on this a long time ago. The first one would be the famous neurologist, Dr. Charcot, who treated people who arrived either by stagecoach or by train. He's like, why are your symptoms feeling better? Because you came on a bumpy ride. It does vibrate my hand. It doesn't give me any overstimulation problems. I've been using this, the maximum allowable, for about 12 days now, and I haven't had any overstimulation problems. So I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm going to share my results with you guys. After 12 days, I don't think I have really anything to say yet other than no overstimulation problems, which for me is a really good thing. I do use it when I go off during the day. So I use it in the morning when I'm off, laying in bed, just after I take my pills. I use it at my midday pill, which is around like 1 p.m. That's usually when I go off. It's been carrying me through that off time, and then I use it at bedtime. I'm really interested. What can it do? Like, what can it do? It could do something. I don't know, but I would like to find that out. Thank you for continuing to take this journey together. Thank you for liking, watching, subscribing, and sharing this video with your family and friends. Please leave a comment or a question below. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.